Hey, what's going on, man?
My mind is a mountain of thoughts.
How did I know that was coming?
It's just a lot of thoughts in there. Big brain stuff.
Not
or
all
little
good
brain
ones either. Little brain stuff, yeah.
Little brain stuff. Yeah, there's no pinky in the brain here. It's just probably more like Morty from Rick and Morty, a very small, dumb brain.
Well, listen, speaking about all things mind, we're going to talk about the new single from Deftones, My Mind is a Mountain. But before we do that, thank you to everyone who has jumped in and subscribed to the channel and followed us on the various streaming platforms. We appreciate it so much. If you are a heavy music fan and you have any interest in this sort of stuff, we would love it if you subscribe. Hit the button. I promise we're not going to charge you a penny for it. You know, like the videos, throw a comment down on what kind of stuff you'd like to see us talk about in the future. But we really, really do appreciate it. We do this for fun, and we like taking a whole bunch of people along for the ride. So thank you all so much for sticking around with us. But
yeah,
yes.
thank you. We do this for giggles. And it's a kind of a joy that people actually write to us and say hello and give us feedback and that we get to talk to the musicians that are, writing the soundtrack to our lives. It's incredible that we get to do that. So thank you to all of you. Without your subscriptions, your participation, we wouldn't get a chance to talk to the musicians that we love as much as you do. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And speaking of interviews, we've got some fun stuff coming up. We are putting together a date with Greg Kubacki, the guitar player from Car Bomb. There's fun stuff coming, and we appreciate you all hanging out with us for that ride. But today we're talking about the new single from Deftones, My Mind is a Mountain. It is very exciting. The new album, Private Music, drops on August 22nd of this year, 2025, and I'm excited about it. Let's get into it.
Yeah, this sounds like White Pony era Deftones. They've gone back to their roots. It's hard hitting. It's Stephen Carpenter playing guitar, and he is front and center on this track. Abe Cunningham, Chino Marino is the vocalist, and I kind of hearken Chino as being the greatest showman, not named Hugh Jackman. He just owns the stage. He can whip people into a frenzy. And my friend Matt recently went and saw the Deftones with his daughter, and he said that they were incredible. Chino's fit, and he was running around the stage like he was in his 20s, and he still sounds absolutely magnificent, and he sounds great on this track. And then obviously Frank Delgado is also in the band.
Frank Delgado is on turntables, keys, samples, a lot of the electronic stuff. Fred Sablin is on bass. He's played with them. He's played live with them since 2021, 22. He replaced Sergio Vega. So that's the line out. Apparently, Fred is now an official member of the band. Not entirely sure. Someone please comment and correct us if we don't have that right. But
it does not show that he is official. When you go into Wikipedia, it shows him.
Well, we know Wikipedia is the pinnacle of authority journalism.
Listen, I agree to disagree.
Well, regardless, it is signature Deftones for these years.
It sure is. And it's pulsating signature Deftones. It hits and hits and hits and hits and hits and hits all the way through. Which is great because they got into some trouble a little while back. Chino is part of a side project called Crosses, and they put out an album called Gore that kind of was more emotion, kind of posh, hotel-y, if you will.
Okay, sure.
People didn't love it. The fans didn't love it. And so I think that they've been doing a little bit of some payback to the fans. And this record, if it's any indicator, there's a white snake with a green background on the cover. Generally speaking, when you have a snake on anything, you better be a little bit heavier than you've been. And so I suspect that they're kind of giving back, and this will be a little bit more hard-hitting. Private Music will be hard-hitting.
Well, I hope so. I love the track. I love how it opens with Stephen Carpenter and Abe. Stephen Carpenter's tones and chord choices. Again, to me, they're just signature Deftones. It sounds so good. His tone is lovely. I was very excited as soon as the song started. Abe's performance on this track is great. The parts that he wrote for it, I think, are so cool. He did a lot of things that might not stick out to most folks, but they certainly, as a drummer, they stuck out to me. He does cool things like the use of triplets, a triplet feel varying between the cymbal and the kick drum. You know, when the cymbals and the snare drum are more straight ahead, he's got like a triplet feel on the kicks. And then when the kick and the snare are more straight ahead, he's got the triplets. He's carrying that feel on the cymbals. And it just goes so far. You can get so much mileage in terms of the feel of the groove that he's laying down. So Abe's work is great. I've been a fan of Abe's for a long time and was excited to hear what he did on this song. And again, I hope that this carries through the rest of the album. Fortunately, we don't have long to wait before we get to find out.
Yeah, and I think we should do another podcast on the full length. I think we're going to be pretty happy with it. I'm sure there'll be plenty of Chino crooning, smizing to the mic, and then also barking into the mic. It's great to have them back. I think we're seeing a lot of bands returning to form after kind of delving into kind of different avenues with their music. They're coming back to their cores. We saw the same thing with Biohazard, and we're seeing it now with the Deftones. The classic sound, the classic elements of what made these bands a household name are back. And I applaud them for that as much as I applaud us getting subscribers.
Nick Raskulinecz produced this. He has worked with the band before on Diamond Eyes and Koi no Yokan. And he's got a producer touch that I think is noticeable on those records. And again, I think this is signature Deftones for me. Now, how much of that is Nick's hand as a producer, I'm not sure, but I love it.
Yeah, well, and Daryl the Cat loves Rocket Skates that is on Diamond Eyes, and it does actually have a kind of a Diamond Eyes feel to it, which is, very cool. And again, I like that they've gone back to their roots. I love when bands stay consistent. I thought that the Deftones in recent years they'd have songs that you could see or hear playing in a really nice hotel. Which is weird. Taking a leak in a really nice hotel, listening to this really mellow, cooing Chino Marino. And it's like not really 7 words from Nosebleed from way back in the day. For those who know, it's a pretty violent track with a lot of swears, and it's a rager. It's a ripper. That's the Deftones that I grew up with. It was prevalent for, on WWLR in college. We played Deftones all the time. So, for them to come back to the heaviness, it's great to see it. Leave the cooing in the hotel for later on when you're elderly. You can still do it then, but let's be heavy still.
I like it. I love Chino's vocals on this too. Maybe could have brought the vocals a little bit more up front in the mix. However, I will say that for me, the fact that they're pushed back just a tiny bit, it lends to the Chino mystique.
Sure.
And so it's not a bad thing at all. I think it's a great mix from a production standpoint. It's really well put together. The captures are great. The performances are super solid. The parts that everybody wrote are great. And it's a really solid mix. It's an enjoyable song to listen to. I've had it on repeat for days now.
Same here. Love the artwork too. That green background with the white snake is just so well done, so creative and simple. It doesn't have to be this crazy thing that you come up with. And, I just did a social media post about going to the Museum of Modern Art in New York City. And there's some crazy, crazy stuff that these artists had put thousands of hours into, right? But some of the best art was the most simplistic. And it really, really stood out. Like Andy Warhol's, soup containers, the Campbell soup containers. Pretty simple. But yet somehow it has stood the test of time. And I think that the Deftones have done a really good job of doing that with some of their covers are just very, very simple. Like the Deftones self-titled, the album with Hexagram on it. It's just a skull with some flowers coming out of it. Diamond Eyes, believe that's the one that has the owl on it. So it's just these interesting covers, but it's real life, sometimes nature. It's an interesting approach and very simple.
It's part, you're a marketing guy. It's an interesting study to find out how much the visual element that a band utilizes or employs can fold into how you feel about an album. Whether that's a good thing, a bad thing, I'm certainly not in no position to say, but it's always interesting to look at the choices that a band makes on the visual side when they do release an album or a single or what have you.
Well, the Deftones have always been like that. I mean, their first album had that, I guess it's a booger sucker for babies, or maybe, or sucks earwax. That's the thing you push it in, put it in a baby's nose or in its ear, and then it'll suck it out for you. I don't even know what the thing is called.
Nasal aspirator. Nasal aspirator is what we were looking for there. Continue.
But that's what's on the cover. There's not a kid out there that's going to not see that on a record or a CD at the time and go, that looks cool. And then the Deftones has this very elegant,
the script,
signature script so you put that on top of the Booger Sucker, and it's like, you're going to pick it up and listen to it. How can you not?
Well, this is a great song. I hope that we get an album's worth of music that has a very similar flavor. We will find out in just a couple of weeks.
Well, I think you should go stick a Booger Sucker up your nose and clean out, your nose, and
I just might
splatter it down on a table and put out your own album.
I just, when we hit our next tier of subscribers, we, hit 300 or whatever, maybe we'll hand out signature Shit Talk Reviews Booger Suckers as a thank you gift.
We'll get those branded. That'd be great.
All right. Excellent stuff. Thanks for bringing it to the table, man.
Yeah, of course.
See ya.
See ya.